We will refer to this one as MADAA in MADAA. MADAA in MADAA. Although in the first incident, I have got credible information that she later died. Although there is a very slight possibility that she may be alive. And in the second one, of course, he died. And in the second one, the murder did not happen at MADAA, but it happened just touching on the other side of the rail from MADAA. That is why you call it MADAA, MADAA in MADAA. And MADAA for you is Madaraka Estate, next to Nyayo Stadium. One day, I received a phone call at 3 a.m. It was from an unsaved number. So when I picked it up, somebody on the other side just asked me, wewe ndio unachungaga Madaraka? I said ndio. Then he said, zungumza na watchman wako. A lot of things went through my mind. This is when you can have 1,000 words in a second. No wonder my head is called desktop computer. So many MBPs in the RAM. Ama mnahitaji hiyo vitu ya siku hizi. These are the questions that I was asking myself. Has any of my guards been caught stealing? Has he been caught sleeping? Or has he been caught trying to sneak out at 3 a.m. before waiting for the 3 hours? You see, you have to prepare a defense. A case has been done. Maybe your person was found red-handed. You are being introduced to the topic at the mitigation stage. You are supposed to do a lot of talking and a lot of explaining on something that you are the last person to know. But then the guard came and said, mimi ni fulani kutoka Witches Court. You see, I knew his voice, so there was no need of him introducing himself by name. Maybe if he would have said, ni mimi, I would have known him. But he introduced himself by name, and I can say 1,000 sentences were going through my mind at the same time. Remember, I've just discovered that I'm talking to one of my best guards in the estate and even in the whole farm. My neck top is quickly thinking, whatever wrong he has done, he is one of the most disciplined guards. Now, if one of the best guards has been caught red-handed, what worse calamities can one face? In any group, if you are the overall, you know your people. There are those people like this one. Just, even if you were to meet him, you'd ask him, kwani ni shetani gani ilikuingilia hadi ukaiba? So he's one of the best guards. And I was really wondering if one of the best guards has been caught red-handed, I don't know what we'll do. I felt like pouring out my heart, but my training in NIS tells me to hide my feelings. It is even easy when you are not talking face to face. In the NIS, we were trained, or they do train NIS officers, that they have to control their emotions, they have to listen, and in NIS, just like what is called lie detecting machine, NIS do not go for what you tell them. Let me tell you one thing. We don't go for what you are telling us. No. We go for other signs. Because if you have to follow the system of our cousins, the DCI, the DCI will ask you, did you steal or run anything? And okay, there are those who agree they stole. The, the DCI tell you, you are not obliged to say anything unless you wish to say so. And whatever you say will be recorded, may be recorded and will be used as evidence in court. As we don't do that, there's no cautioning or anything. What we do, our work is more like a lie dictator. It is not, when we ask a question, it is not the answer we are looking for. Asking somebody, did you steal? And you expect him to say, yes, I stole. Well, there are those who agree they have stolen. But then, for us, when I ask you, did you steal? I'm looking for those telltale signs. And there are those telltale signs that tell me that he's telling the truth or he's not telling the truth. And if the telltale sign tells me that he's not telling the truth, then I endeavor to find the truth. So when I was told that this is your God and whatever, I was now looking for information without talking, because if I would have talked earlier, I'd have disowned the God, I would have done a lot of things and whatever. So in the intelligence, we look for non-verbal communications. But then this God had very few words to tell me. He just told me something has happened, something serious has happened, and I just wanted to confirm you that this is a bona fide resident of Wetches Court. At first, I did not notice his calmness, which would have assured me that nothing bad had occurred, at least on our part. You know, running a security firm, anytime things are happening, your mind goes in 5 directions. One, you get worried that you're going to be involved in a case that you did not send a guard. The guard just decided to steal or sleep or do anything, to be wrong, and then it is you who is being asked. And you see, with every guard, let's say you get 3,000 per guard. So if it is a place that is guarded by 5 guards, you know that in your salary, monthly income, 15,000 has been reduced. So you think along those sides, you think how best to deal with that. It's a long story. I want to continue that. So whenever you call your security provider, he or she is usually thinking a lot of things at the same simultaneously. So at first I didn't notice the guard's calmness, which would have assured me that nothing bad has occurred, especially on our part. You know, our part is, have we been wrong? Has the guard stolen? Has guard been those things? So my NIS training was that just act normally, even if you are burning inside. Even if you are burning inside, I don't have to look like somebody. Have you ever seen somebody who has a running stomach, and you find somebody is in the toilets, and you can see the way that the person is emotional and whatever, because the other person is taking long to. You don't act that way. So when the guard gave that fellow the phone back, The fellow now said, the fellow now called me Mr. KGB. For those of you who don't know, yes, KGB is one of my nicknames. In YouTube, I'm called JI-TENGE. KGB usually is a name that I use in my security consultants and any matters of security that is there. For those of you who come from Western, KGB stands for Kabrengu Guards Base. Kabrengu Guards Base, a registered security company limited. But some people usually see that having worked with the NIS, maybe I wanted a company that had the initials like KGB. Well, unless anybody has counter information, I think we should agree with that. So he called me KGB. I answered back. He said, we have a problem here. We have a problem. And the problem is we have a woman who is lying on the ground. Let me talk quickly about what happened to this woman. Is that she had differed. A couple had differed. The man and woman had differed. And they were staying aside. And then as time went on, they later reconciled. And so on that day, the man pretended that they should celebrate their reunion. They went round in entertainment joints. So they left the entertainment joints very late and came to Madaraka. When they came to Madaraka, where they were staying, the man threw the lady from the third floor to the ground. He threw her to the ground, and that is where now she was lying on the ground. I stopped taking alcohol a long time ago, some decades ago. But what I know is that this is one of the few occasions when alcohol is very good. I have to say that the lady was intoxicated, and when she was pushed up there, she was drunk, and so she did not die from shock. You see, just knowing that you have been thrown from up there to the ground, that shock alone can kill you. But being drunk, she was relaxed and she didn't. And you know, anybody who is a bit aged, any sign of alarm raises up the blood pressure and such things. So it is. Let us say that because she was. Let us say that because. Let us say that because she was. She was drunk. She was not conscious enough to know. She was not conscious enough to know that. To know that. She had been thrown that. The knowledge that even when somebody knives you, the knowledge that you have been knifed, it can bring shockwave, and that one can kill you. So when I learned it was that way, I was relieved. I was relieved. I was relieved because it did affect us. But don't blame me saying that I was relieved and then somebody here was dying. Please just understand the what I'm saying. So I asked him, why don't you take the lady to the hospital? Then he told me that handling a person in her situation can result in more damages than what she is in. Yes, it is true, and I have to tell my viewers that I'll tell my viewers that when you fall from a tall building and somebody places you in a stretcher, somebody who is not who is not trained in that, may even make more damage to you than falling from. So it is good to leave that person the way it is, the way she or he is, until the first responders come. I then rang an ambulance. The ambulance people were reluctant. They were showing a lot of reluctance. They told me that they get such false alarms, and they told me, allow us to record your voice and allow to us to record your number, so as a proof that as a proof as a proof that should this thing come to be false, then you are answerable. I accepted. They took my telephone number. Of course, they don't ask you your name or ID number because they know you'll there's no way of ascertaining that. So they just took the number plus the voice mail of me reporting that such a thing. After I had accepted, they now told me, can you repeat what you said? I said, in Madaraka Estate, at a place called Witches Court, blah, 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 blah. Then they told me, okay, thank you. I then rang the police control room. Uh, I just found myself reverting back to the rank of Inspector of Police that I last used when I was in service. I found myself now reverting to that rank and becoming temporary for minutes as an inspector of police. This is what I say. I am a former police inspector. Whom am I talking to? That fellow told me. I wrote down. We have such and such an incident at Witches Court in Madaraka. Can you respond immediately? The person at the radio room said, yes, sir. I then called the number. The fellow who was ringing me, he hung and called me. He hung the phone and called me. I told him I have informed the ambulance people and the police. The fellow then told me, but KGB, you know these people of yours, they will not come. You know, this story is about police lacking petrol started long ago. It is only Onesimus Kipchumba Murkomen who has legalized the demand for petrol because he has put his consent there that the police are right to demand for petrol. So this fellow told me that you know these people, they'll not come, they'll give all type of excuses and whatever. I then cut that phone, rang the control room. I immediately called the police control room and then talked to the same officer who was on duty and told you, can you confirm that you have received my report on Witches Court in Madaraka Estate? This is what he answered me. Said, lakini afande, I told the Langata patrol and they are aware. Of course, a person like the one who is in control room talking to a former police officer is easier for him because he needs only to say one sentence and ninajijazia. But when you talk to people who are not who have no police experience, you find it is a bit hard because you'll spend a lot of time explaining. I then called the number. He hung up and called me. He was doing that to save my credit. As I was updating him, I could hear sirens at the back. I could hear the sirens at the back. He told me that patrol car, ambulance, and fire engines were present. He told me that three, the police patrol car, ambulance, and fire engines were present. Of course, I was hearing them from the back. I was hearing them from the back. The lady was processed and admitted to hospital. This thing went on. A lot of people tell me that she later passed on, but I never met her. So there is a chance in a thousand, one chance in a thousand that she could still be alive. Another case just next to that place, but just outside Madaraka. I had arrived at home past midnight. I had arrived home past midnight. As I was having my night lunch, what do you call a meal that you take at 1 a.m.? As I was having my night lunch, I turned on a local TV station for the repeat of prime time news. Do they still have that? I don't know. I don't think so. The Langata OCPD was at Tyson's estate in South Sea, and they had found a human being inside the sewage. Inside the sewage. Actually, the thing is, imagine, hey, some things are hard to imagine. Imagine that the sewage had been blocked and was running through. But then again, even though it was blocked and running through, it was smelling badly more than the ordinary sewage. So they went and reported to is it power fire station? You know, I don't know whether they reported to the fire station or the police, but both police and fire people went to that sewage thing. And when they went to that sewage thing, they at first they thought that maybe it is a pig that had run into one of the sewage line, and it had come and blocked at Tyson. So yeah, I remember it is the fire people who were called, not the police. So when they went to check, because they were saying that it was smelling very badly. Now, when you hear somebody saying that sewage is smelling very badly, I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So they concluded that, of course, they had handled such cases, and they had come across cases where pigs had been blocked into the sewage. So they felt that it was the pigs, what do you call pig's meat? Bacon. Uh, it was they thought that it was pig's carcass, which was mixed with human waste, and it was coming that way. But after removing it, they discovered that it was a human body. So that is when the police were called in, and the OCPD Langata was telling people that if you know any missing person, please tell, so that we can investigate whether the person you know who is missing is this one or any other. It just came to my mind and I slept. The following morning, I rang the Langata police station. I rang the Langata police station. I referred them to a plot next to Westbridge Hotel, and told them that a report had been made of a missing person. Actually, this is what had happened. Somebody was lost next to Westbridge Hotel, and they went to report at Nyayo police station, but they were told that the rail is the boundary. Even though the place was a few steps from Nyayo police station, but it was in the area of Capitol Hill. So they were told to go and report to Capitol Hill. So when I told them that you can check with Capitol Hill, there's somebody who died on such and such a day, maybe he could be the one. Now imagine from Capitol Hill. Okay, this, for those of you who know politics, this place is very next to Jaramogi Odinga office or something there, next to or just near Nyayo Stadium. So the Langata police went and checked with the Capitol. They found that actually there was such a report, and those people who knew him went to the mortuary to see him, and it was easy to identify him because the clothes that he was wearing are the very same clothes that he was last seen wearing. They are the same clothing that he had been seen last wearing. Following my tip, it was confirmed that indeed he was the one. He was in the clothes that he was last seen. Now a piece of land, uh, just opposite the petrol station. I think Total petrol station and Madaraka. Uh, and then it bound as West Breeze Hotel. This small plot had this small plot belonged to an Indian. Belonged to an Indian, and you see for many plots that if you see for many plots that stay idle, you'll find people saying not for sale, not for sale. So the Indian found not only he found that instead of just placing it not for sale, he employed a watchman to guard that place. He employed a watchman to guard that place. The watchman was a Luo, and he is that person I've just said that his body was found in the sewage in Tyson. So he employed this Luo fellow as to guard the plot. This Luo fellow used to stay wherever he used to stay, and he would come and guard the plot. Although later on he built like a small thing there to stay. Uh, During daytime he would sleep in that room of his, and at night he would guard that plot. Then from nowhere, a Luo lady appeared. A Luo lady appeared. She wanted to put up a kiosk on that plot. An agreement was made between the Luo lady and the Luo guard. An agreement was made between the Luo lady and the Luo guard. That she sets up a kiosk, and both the rent, she had to pay for the rent. And then again, during night time, when she has gone back to Kibra, her kiosk may be stolen or anything. So she wanted somebody to be taking care of her sufurias and whatever at night. So she set up a kiosk on that compound. And instead of paying for the rent for the kiosk, and also this guard used to guard for her properties at night, that one, instead of paying for that, it entitled him to 3 meals a day. He would eat from that kiosk. That everybody, including the Indian, thought they were relatives. And actually, it is even easier to say you are relatives, because it is easier for you to say you are relatives because the Indian may be a bit hard to agree to such an agreement. The other reason is, if you tell the Indian or the person who owns such a plot that you are cousins or siblings, the landlord would not even think that in Kenya, people may think maybe you are collecting rent from that person. So the Indian accepted for the kiosk to be there, thinking that the lady was related to the man. You see, they are from the same tribe. Then a third Luo appeared from nowhere. He was jobless. He was jobless, and the three agreed. The lady who owns the kiosk, uh, that at night, you see, this guard, the guard did not need his bed at night, because he was guarding. So this fellow who had come, who was jobless, he had to sleep on that. He had to sleep on that fellow's bed, and in the morning they would exchange. The guard now sleeps during daytime, and the other fellow is jobless. He would go around looking for a job. That was how they had agreed. So food was from the kiosk. Food was from the kiosk. He was jobless. He had found a tribe mate of his who gave him where to sleep. He had found another tribe mate of his who gave him food. There is this one who gave him bed. There is this one who gave him food. But the three never knew each other. They just met there. Uh, but during that time, the guard used to complain to the Luo lady and to the jobless Luo fellow, that the Indian had not paid him for a long time. He was complaining that he had not been paid for a long time. Then one day, he was paid in full. And when he was paid in full, you see, when you get money, and especially if you get arrears, we tend to behave differently. We tend to buy a few more things. We tend to, well, for those who are close to us, would know that at least today I have earned. That thing usually happen. Very few people, very few people can get a lot of money and behave normally. Most of us, you get something lump sum. Those close, at least those close to you, will know. Others even go to an extent that everybody around will know. So a few days after he got the lump sum, he disappeared without trace. He disappeared without trace, and there were two theories. There were two theories about his disappearance. One of the theories after disappearance was that after getting lump sum, he absconded. And then again, next to that kiosk, or no, next to that plot, between that plot and the railway, the Kibra railway, there was a number of manholes, sewage manholes, and so there was one of the manholes had blood on it. One of the manholes had blood on it, and people thought maybe he has gone to, what do we call? Even after reporting missing person, they just assumed that maybe, just maybe, he didn't want the Indian to pursue him. He must have gone to a slaughterhouse and bought about 2 kilos of uh, cow blood or something, and then poured there so as to be seen as if he, or something like that. So, and you see, it was this way because he had no enemies. He was a very polite person. So nobody could think of anybody hurting him or anything. So, but they just believed that he had just disappeared, and the report to the police was just as a formality. So when this thing appeared on TV, is when the Langata police went to Capitol Hill police station and checked that and followed. And you know, when you report, you also you leave your contacts. So those people are called, and then they went. As I've said, they checked the body and found that he was wearing the same clothes that he was last seen in. So it was confirmed it was him. And then 2 plus 2, 22. 2 plus 2 is 22. The day after the body was found and identified, that is when this other fellow decided to flee. He decided to flee, not even flee the way at people. It is just the way that is the day he just decided that let me board a vehicle. You know, he had snatched the money from the guard. So he said that is the day he decided to go and board a bus and go back to Oshago. And at the bus stop is when he was arrested, when he was about to leave. Africans believe it was the late who was blocking him from moving. Because how do you explain somebody disappears and you just hang around, just hang around. And then on the day that the body is found is when you now decide to run. And then that is when you are arrested. There is also something that we were taught at CID training school, is that something that we were taught. And this thing that we were taught at CID training school is that there is a way, if you have murdered somebody, he pulls you. That is why when there is a funeral, and the funeral is covered, on a video or pictures, they try to look at those pictures because the killer is usually around. Whenever I remember such acts as the two that I have just mentioned, I turn on music, Bomaliwanza, Sosoliso, and so on, to make my day.